election headquarters, and the far-right group, the Proud Boys, is pledging allegiance to President Donald Trump after he told the group to stand back and stand by. That during the first presidential debate was held last night in Cleveland. Here's a look at the exchange.
But are you willing tonight to condemn white supremacists and militia groups and to say that they need to stand down and not add to the violence in a number of these cities, as we saw in Kenosha and as we've seen in Portland?
Sure,
are you
I'm
prepared to
do
specifically
do it?
Well, go ahead, sir.
I would say almost everything I see is from the left wing, not from the right wing.
So what are you saying?
I'm willing to do anything. I want to see peace.
Then do it, sir.
Say it. Do it. Say it. Do you want to call them? What do you want to call them? Give me a name. Give me a
white
name.
Supremacists and
white
supremacists and right
Proud Boys. Stand back and stand by. But I'll tell you what. Somebody's got to do something about Antifa and the left, because this is not a right-wing.
Today, as the president left the White House for a trip to Minnesota, he told reporters he didn't know who the Proud Boys were and that they should stand down. But that certainly was one of the main takeaways from last night's debate, aside from decorum. Jay Burr spoke with Arkansas lawmakers today about their thoughts.
The feelings were mixed with how President Trump addressed the question Chris Wallace posed about denouncing white supremacist groups.
All he has to say is, I denounce and do not support any white supremacist groups.
As far as me as a person, I'm looking more to the long haul than I am just what's said in one debate or not said in one debate.
Open for interpretation amongst lawmakers was that the president answered, sure.
He said sure each time. He is happy to denounce white supremacy, racism. What he should have done is just said, I denounce, racism, period.
When Chris Wallace asked the president if he would be willing to specifically denounce white supremacists, the president said sure. But I don't take that as an explicit rebuke of white supremacy in this country.
Arkansas lawmakers shared what their initial takeaway was from the debate. Most thought it was limited in substance because the decorum was unprecedented for presidential debates.
He's dealing with two strong personalities that want to get the last word in. And when you have two strong personalities that want to get the last word in, the conversation never stops because they're afraid they won't get the last word in.
I don't even want to insult kindergartners with what we saw last night.
There is some concern that with how this debate was handled and executed, it will turn off viewers from watching any future debates.
But if it ends up being the way last night's debate was, I don't know why anybody would want to tune in. It is so difficult to learn anything in those circumstances.
Historically, you're going to see fewer people tuning in to the second debate as there was in the first debate. And so there is a natural precedent for that.
Well, Jay Burr reporting there. Last week, the FBI director told a congressional panel that it was white supremacists and anti-government extremists who have been responsible for the most recent deadly attacks by extremist groups in the U.S.